Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Magi, the Kingdom of Magic, episode 15. And I can already tell you that this is going to be a long review, because I've got a lot to say. Alright, you guys can tell too, but this time I can actually tell as well. And I'm just going to quickly go through what happens in the beginning, because the main gist of what I want to talk about is the stuff with Mogamett. Yeah, so in the beginning, we start off where we left off. Titus, he saves Marga. Then he gets taken out by this Venus flytrap looking thing that Doran created, the guy with the purple hair. And he creates a bunch of these things. He just starts throwing guys down into the Makbara. And Aladdin saves them with wind. Myers shows up. Apparently she's Doran's older sister. And she kind of just settles the situation, calms things down, fixes everything. And I guess you would call it a hearing. Aladdin ends up having a hearing with Mogamett and a bunch of other magicians, and he, unlike what some people think, he doesn't get executed. Instead, he ends up having a one-on-one conversation with Mogamett, and it turns out that he knows about how Aladdin is acquainted with Yamaraya. He also knows that Aladdin has some sort of mission, though I guess it's not that he knows he has a mission, it's just that he feels as though he has a mission. Like he's under the impression that Aladdin has a mission, but he doesn't know for a fact that he does. And yeah, the next day is the ideology class, which is what the majority of this review is going to be about. The majority of this is Mogamett telling his story, and like giving us his backstory pretty much. I'm not going to talk about the first part because the first part is just your typical sob story. I just don't care. I'm not the type of person who just sympathizes that easily because a person's wife died. Everybody has someone close to them die in anime and manga. That's like, so I'm not going to sympathize that easily just because you're the same as everyone else. Like I've seen it too many times. Later on, I end up sympathizing because we actually get farther along the backstory. But the first part, I just didn't care. And once the second part starts, we pretty much learn that Mogamett is just an old racist, pretty much. He's not a racist. He doesn't hate people who are a different race than him, but he hates people who aren't magicians. So in other words, the reason I called him an old racist is because that's kind of the best word to use, because I don't want to, like, abilityist doesn't really, like, doesn't exactly doesn't have as much of an impact as racist does. Pretty much, Mogamett is taking a group of people who are different than him, and he hates those people because they're different than him, pretty much. Because they're different from him, he hates them, and that's essentially it. So he's an ist, all right, not racist, but he is an ist of some sort, all right. And he ends up asking Aladdin, Titus, and Spintus to talk about what it is that they saw down in the 5th level authorization district. I think that's the full name for it. And Titus says, he saw 20,000 people being oppressed and having their Mogwai constantly sucked away. And Mogamett, this dude actually tries to argue that they aren't actually being oppressed, which is a huge load of crap. It really is. Mogamett says that all those guys spend all their days not caring about anything but food and sex, and then that's all they need to be happy. That's completely ridiculous, though. Marga is the perfect example of that. She had dreams. She wanted to learn how to read, go to the surface, and become a scholar or a doctor or something. But because she was trapped under there, she's got at most a year or two to live. Okay? She wasn't down there by choice. She wasn't down there because of something that she did. She's down there because of something her grandparents did. Alright? That she's done nothing to deserve being down there in the 5th level. She could be up in the 4th level. Like, maybe even 3rd, who knows? Well, no, she's a kid, so she wouldn't be in the 3rd. But she could at least be up in the 4th level. Better than the 5th. Like, It's ridiculous. What has Margaret done to to make you think that all she needs is food and sex, and that's all she thinks about? No, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. And even if you look at all the other guys down there, it doesn't fit them either, because you have to realize they've lived down there for like they've lived there for their entire lives, right? Not the elderly, but their children, right? The middle age, well, not middle aged guys, but I guess they're like around 20 or so, maybe 30. So I mean, those women, they've been down there their entire lives. Okay, that's all they know. That's that's all they've seen, and that's all they know. Okay, when they were kids like Margot, they probably had dreams just like her, but they gave up on them because year after year after year after year went by, and they were never allowed to leave for a reason that they couldn't even understand, because it didn't have anything to do with them. It wasn't their fault, but they were forced to stay down there. And eventually they ended up accepting their fate and trying to enjoy their life as much as possible. They convinced themselves that they liked it down there, that they didn't want to leave, because if they didn't convince themselves of that, they'd be hating their lives every day, and that's no way to live. No one can go through that, except for like Naruto. But like other than him, like other than Naruto, no one can really go through something like that and actually be fine afterwards. Okay, they had to convince themselves. They had to do something to so that they wouldn't just spiral into depression. Okay, that so I don't buy it. That's ridiculous. And those old guys, they're down. They're down there. The reason they say they want to leave is because they're saying at least it's better than the Mustashim Empire. But that doesn't mean that just because you can treat somebody like trash and then upgrade to treat them like a punching bag, and they'll say, hey, that's better than what I know. But that doesn't mean it's still not bad. Okay, like, Mogamett's argument makes no sense. Of course, you're treating them like crap. Like, nah, I'm sorry. Mogamett's argument makes no sense. All right, and after that, he ends up after trying to make that stupid freaking argument, he goes back to his story and he talks about how this illness came that magicians couldn't cure. All right, and these old noble guys, the nobility, it turns out that they were the ones that spread it, and they also spread a rumor that it was the magicians who caused the illness. All right, and that pretty much made everyone turn against them. All right, what the nobles did, they used the illness to create fear inside the people, fear, specifically fear of magicians and what they were capable of. Okay, and that should sound familiar. All right, the reason why it should sound familiar is because that's exactly what Mogamett is doing right now. All right, that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's using his story to create fear inside of the magicians, fear of Goy and what they're capable of. Okay, you can play that back. You can rewind it, play it on top of each other. All right, it's like an ad lib, literally. I pretty much said the same exact thing. All right, all I did was switch out some nouns. It's like an ad lib. Okay, I'll even say it again. You can listen. All right, it's literally Mogamett is literally doing the same exact thing as those other guys. Okay, the nobles used the illness to create fear inside the people. Mogamett is using his story to create fear inside of magicians. Okay, same thing. All right, the nobles created fear of Goy and what they're capable of. Mogamett is creating fear of oh wait, nice. The nobles were creating fear of magicians and what they're capable of. Mogamett is creating fear of Goy and what they're capable of. Okay, the two of them, it's the same thing. Mogamett is doing the exact same thing that those old nobles were doing. All right, that Mogamett hates what happened to him, but now he's doing the same thing. Mogamett is exactly what he hates. All right, he doesn't see that though. All right, he doesn't see that, and the reason he is becoming what he hates is because he doesn't realize simple facts. Okay, all right, it's not that all Goy are bad. It's just that those guys in particular were bad. Okay. As a matter of fact, it's not like they only treat magicians like crap. They treat regular Goy like crap too. We saw this in Balbad, how the guys up here treat the guys down here like crap. All right, we've seen this before. All right, it's not that all Goy are bad. It's just there are always going to be bad people in the world. All right, there are always going to be bad people in the world. All right, that doesn't mean that all people in that certain group are bad though. But for some reason, Mogamett couldn't realize that. All right. I'll even give you an example, okay? Let's say I were to go out and buy a gun, all right? And then I were to go out somewhere and shoot somebody in the head. Does that mean you should arrest all black guys who have an account on YouTube that review anime and manga and then say that they're going to do the same thing? Like, or you go arrest the King of Lightning, Insane Game Freak, Uber Hikari, like all arrest all these guys, Bushido Spirit, like are you really gonna go ahead and arrest all these guys just because you see, like, that just doesn't make any sense. All right, that doesn't make any sense. All right, you don't see someone like Naruto saying, "Oh, these humans treated me like crap, so all humans must be evil. As a matter of fact, Iruka is probably the only exception. Therefore, I'm going to create a world that just has Iruka and I in it. Everyone else can die." All right, you don't see him saying that. Like, I mean, Gara maybe, but you get the point though, right? Like, this is ridiculous. All right, what happened to Mogamett is sad, all right, and it's messed up. He didn't deserve that. And like I said in the beginning, I did start to feel for him towards the end. And it's because of that second half of his story that I'm going to give the episode a 9 out of 10. Because even though I don't agree with what he's saying, because what he's saying doesn't make any sense and he's an idiot, all right? But it's still great development for him, for his character. And plus, there was a really good scene towards the end where, like, you see the nobles and they actually get transformed into animals for the effect of calling them livestock, right? But so I'm going to give the episode a 9 out of 10. But, I mean, Mogamett, I just don't care about Mogamett. Like, I seriously don't like this guy, alright? What he had to go through sucks. No one deserves to have to go through that. Those nobles are pieces of crap, alright? But Mogamett is literally just as bad as they are because he is exactly what they were. He is a clone of them. All he's done is switch things around. So instead of them treating magicians like crap, now he's the one treating non-magicians like crap. Right? He's exactly what he hates, and he can't see that for some reason. He thinks that he's better than them when he's just as bad and he's doing the same exact thing. So Mogamett's logic, there is none. There is none, alright? Mogamett is not using logic. His argument makes no sense, and Alain isn't being fooled by this either. Alright, Alain, he's sitting there the entire time with the serious look on his face, and please. All these other kids are sitting there like, "Oh my god, oh my god." Alright, and Alain's sitting there like, please, this dude's ridiculous, alright? Alain's not being fooled by his crap, alright? Neither is Titus, neither is Spintus. We see a scene in the preview with Alain, Spintus, and Titus sitting in a circle with all these other kids. It's safe to assume they're discussing what it is they just heard, and I don't know why people would just believe that. Let me go and end this video now because I'll just keep on going, saying the same things over and over. You guys get the point, though. I mean, what happened to Mogamett is messed up. He got great development in this episode. I can kind of understand why he thinks the way he does, but in order to understand why he's doing what he does, I have to stop using logic. Well, not stop using logic, but I have to make it so that I think illogically in order to understand what he's doing, because what he's doing is illogical and doesn't make sense because he's become exactly what he hates. All right, he's exactly the same. He's just as bad as the other guys. All right, people treated him like crap, so now he wants to get back and hit them and treat them like crap too. But he's trying to act like he's the good guy when he's not. All right, it's ridiculous. All right, that's it for now, you guys. This episode gets a 9 out of 10 based solely on the fact that Mogamett got development in this episode. All right. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.